I had 12 gerbils when I was a kid. It was supposed to be 2, but we didn't know the difference between boys and girls, so we ended up with 12. And it would have been 14. I don't know if you guys have ever owned gerbils, but once they give birth, if you don't separate the dad from the babies, he'll eat them alive. Yeah, that's the thing. So that's how I learned very, very young that gerbils have very liberal abortion laws. But just like humans, the men make most of the decisions. If you're not laughing at that, you've never seen a man eat a baby. I'm really bad at flirting. The one place I feel safe flirting is when I'm riding a bike past another person riding a bike. And then I'll do like really hardcore fuck me eyes. Because the commitment's really low, right? One time I was like, it'll be really fun and flirty of me to do a wet t-shirt contest. And I was like, so I went out and I bought like the biggest terry cloth shirt I could find. And I was like, at the end of this, when they're wringing out all the shirts and measuring the water to see who got the most and had the wettest shirt, I'd win, right? That's not the contest. The name is confusing. Let's think of a better name. Thirsty boobs? I'm actually not like afraid to die alone. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to die alone. It's sad to die alone. And I'm like, I'm kind of okay with it. Have you seen how people die in groups? Okay, let's get started. Okay, but actually, so I'm a little bit sad that I probably won't get married, because the one thing I think is fun is when people ask their bridesmaids, like in a special way, to be their bridesmaids, and I don't think I'll get to do that. So what I've been doing is writing down different people in my friend group as my emergency contacts. And then I've been sending like fun little mail packages that say, congratulations, you're my emergency contact. You'll be contacted when it's party time. Speaking of party time, has anyone been to the gynecologist? Okay, just me. Well, that's great, because I am going to describe to you what it's like. Here's kind of how that appointment goes. You sit in the waiting room for a long time. Then a nurse comes out with a clipboard and she says, Sara, and 17 people stand up, right? But I can tell that she said it without the H, so I know it's me. And then I follow her back to the exam room. We get in there. She hands me a gown, and she tells me to get fully undressed, but you can leave your socks on. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to charge you if you see my feet, right? Then she leaves. After that, I wait a while. The doctor comes in. The first thing she does is ask me how many alcoholic drinks I have a week, because her and the nurses are taking bets. A fun game. I think they do. And then the exam starts. So here's how the exam goes. It's pretty quick. First, she'll lazily rub my boobs, ask me how work's going, and I feel like I'm in a relationship on the verge of divorce. Next, she says, all right, get ready, I'm about to start the pelvic exam. And I'm like, well, you should have taken that before you became a gynecologist. But here we are, healthcare in America, right? And then after that, I sit up, and she's like, great, okay, so just so you know, no news is good news. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen the news. Why are you telling me? This is like insane, okay? Right? Right. Looking at your faces is not gonna help me answer this question, but is anyone here using their birth control packets as like a tiny advent calendar? But it's like a countdown to nothing, right? Sometimes I skip a whole week so I can do a whole handful of treats. Yeah. Just pop them out. Pretty fun. Yeah, that's a fun thing I do. I can't get pregnant using my own hand, I learned. It's insane. The only person who can get you pregnant using his hand is the hand of God. Have you heard of the Virgin Mary? I think that when we found out that she was pregnant but doesn't remember having sex, instead of starting a religion, we should have started an investigation, right? I think so, but also I have been accused of being an overthinker. My ex, when he broke up with me, he goes, "You overthink too much." And I was like, I think the too much is implied in the word overthink. And then I was like, well, what do you mean? Have you never thought about how only people that can afford full baths can afford half baths? Don't you think that you should be able to get the half bath first and then save up for the full thing? What other thoughts do I have? Oh, we drove here from Chicago. I spent the whole ride thinking to myself, who invented water softener? And then I was like, what happened to Thomas Clark in 1784? What happened that day that he was like, you know what could be softer? Water. Sometimes I think when people ask me about Roe versus Wade, I'm like, are we in a boat? Are we just in the water? Are we trying to go somewhere? Like, details. Let's see, what else is important to me? I would like to be as proud of my tampon sizes as men are of their condom sizes. But it's really hard because they're not named things that are cool. Like tampons are light, regular, plus, super plus, not cool, right? All I'm asking is for a Magnum tampon. And I would like it ribbed for my pleasure. And I feel like that makes more sense, right? Another thing they do with tampons is they try to do, I work in advertising, one of their like sales points is like if they do like discreet, like be more discreet wrapping. My question is, if we're trying to do discreet wrapping, why do my tampons look like they're about to go clubbing? Or like they just left an Easter egg hunt? As a designer, I have a few ideas I'd like to pitch to the companies. One idea is like just a denim wash, right? Just a couple of shades of denim. That's a good idea, right? And then my second one, which I think is my favorite, is just a tampon wrapper that looks like a finger. That way you don't have to hide it. You can just have it in your hand and just carry it around. And then you have 6 fingers, right? But that's obviously less embarrassing than being a woman. Tampons seem popular in this group. I have another thought on tampons, actually. Another thing is like quieter wrappers, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. If we want quieter wrappers, how about we work on like candy at the movie theater? Last time I checked, I've never eaten a tampon during a movie. I have eaten candy in the stall, so that's a weird, that's happened. That's crazy. What else about tampons? Oh, I'll be done with that, unless anyone has questions. Actually, I have one more on tampons. Do you guys know the compact ones? They're like smaller. I guess that word, it's implied. Okay. They're smaller, and what you have to do is pull them apart. I don't know why they're small, but you pull them apart, and then they fall completely apart in the stall onto the public bathroom floor. And then your job is to put them back together, string it back through, so you can use it. Next thing you know, you're working at the tampon factory, and like your life has changed. It's all in this one moment. It's crazy. Why? Are we afraid people might know how much cotton we can fit inside our bodies? Do we think people are going to confuse us for a Build-A-Bear? These are real questions. Let's see. Gerbils have really loud sex. I know this from trying to rest up for the 5th grade. I had the cage in my bedroom, and I would wake up in the middle of the night from them having sex. And so what I would have to do is like wake up, pick up their cage, pick it up, carry it down the hall to the bathroom, and shut the door. So I'd like to think I invented the Mile High Club for gerbils. Are any of you in the Mile High Club for gerbils? Okay, fine. My neighbors have really loud sex. They're the other people, things, living things I know that have loud sex. It wakes me up often. In this one particular instance, I was playing Tales All This Time from Beauty and the Beast on my keyboard, like people do, and they started having sex and I could hear them. And I was like, it's sort of a conundrum because I was like, do I stop playing? And then they think I'm listening. Or do I keep playing for free? Okay, I'll end on this. This is a TV show pitch idea that I have. I pitched it to Netflix. I haven't heard back, but no news is good news, so I'm sure it's on TV now. I don't know. This is my idea. I'm just gonna pitch it to you before I go. So what it would be is kind of like a reality game show, and what it would be like the contestant would be in an apartment, and then in an adjoining apartment, like just beyond the other wall, we'd have like couples come in one at a time, like maybe 3 or 4 couples, and have really loud sex. And then at the very end, they like go away, they don't see them. At the very end, we bring them out, we put them on a chair on stage, and we say, okay, which one do you think was your parents? Thank you guys so much. You've been amazing.